Hi, welcome to Active Bryant Systems. I'm Scott Bryant. Thank you for coming to my YouTube channel and clicking on my video about violence, thuggery and doorman. Right, so I was a doorman like over 17 years ago now, and I'd done it for about 12 years. And when I was doing it, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I didn't see anything wrong in it when I was doing it. And now looking back, I learned so much from it. And it helped to educate me how to talk to people and how to take no nonsense and how to be confident in myself when a situation arises. So from being a doorman, now I'm a personal trainer or Chek practitioner master level 4, and I've been studying for 17 years. But before that, when I was 19, 20, I was really into exercise, looking after myself after quitting drugs, if you watched the video before, and changing my life and realising that there's other things that you can do. So from been doing the door work and becoming a trainer, I realised that job is very, very dangerous. And many people that give doormen hassle on the front door just don't realise what they go through every night of the week that they work and what they go through before they go to work, okay? So before I started the door work, I started to look into it, and I was working at Argos and I was a dispatch worker, loading up lorries, unloading lorries. But before that, I was become a qualified chef, but didn't like that job because the money was crap, the hours were crap, and I just didn't enjoy it anymore. So I went into Argos because it was good money, regular money, and it paid the bills, and I could train and keep training and looking after myself. And when I was a dispatch worker, they used to put me on loading up the lorries because I'm the big, strong guy. Or sometimes I'd go on pick, but I wasn't very good at picking. I was more good at the physical stuff and just throwing cages on and using my when I'm in when I was at work. So the reason why I left Argos after 2 years is because walking around and chatting to people, they all hated their job, and I didn't want to be in that position. And now I've got a job that I absolutely love. And when I was a doorman, I really enjoyed the friendships I made from it. And I've got 4 doormen that I'm still really, really close to. And they've been absolutely fantastic. And they know they are if they watch the video. And I'm really, really grateful to them guys. But the sad news is that we had 3 people that I've worked with that I knew quite well, and they've passed away and they've died or committed suicide. So in the door world, it can be very violent one night and no violence another night. And this book really explains it, which is Jeff Thompson, Watch My Back. So Jeff Thompson, brilliant, brilliant guy, written a couple of books, and he's done a movie, I think that was called Watch My Back or something like that. And the movie was absolutely spot on in lots of ways of what can happen to doormen and what happens in their private life. So Jeff Thompson would become a black belt in judo, and before that he said that he was a bit of a scaredy cat. Then he wrote a book called Fear the Friend of Exceptional People and How to Overcome Your Fears. Now, I was quite a fearful guy, as in wasn't too worried about working on the doors, but you get apprehension every night before you work because you don't know what scenario and what's going to happen. Every scenario is different. You may have 10 guys fighting, you may have 1 guy fighting, you may have a couple fighting, you may have 5 girls fighting, and some nights you may not have any trouble at all. So I started working in the West End in Leicester Square, and before that I done some Essex clubs, which was Epping Country Club, and done a couple of bars around that area in Southend, and then done some places in Leigh-on-Sea. And boy, was it, you was on your toes there, because you know the Essex boys love a punch up. They do love a punch up, especially once they've had a bit of beer and you know, and you're looking at their bird and stuff like that. So when I come to the West End, I realised it was a bit different because you get all these tourists, and we used to get a lot of footballers from Wembley coming down, and fuck me, that could be really, really scary. So one notorious club I worked in Leicester Square, I won't name the club, but when I was there, they used to have a lot of Bhangra nights and Asian nights, and a lot of rappers used to come in and break dancers and people like that. And I remember one night the boss said to me, they're not allowed to wear their hats and they're not allowed to wear their jackets. So I got everyone to take their hats and jackets off. And he said he was only joking, but I took it like, this is my job. I take it seriously. And I can remember catching people, snorting coke and pillheads, fucking convulsing, and we having to call the ambulance. I can remember, big fights happening and 6 doormen having to run down to break up the fight and get people out. I've had a couple of black eyes. That's just part and parcel of the job. But 12 years of doing it was fun and not fun. The good part of the door work is that the guys that you meet, if you work with them on a regular basis, they're putting their lives on the line for you, and you're putting your life on the line for them to make sure that nobody gets hurt or gets damaged. And there would be things that we'd watch out for. So if you're on the door and somebody, you'd watch them 10 minutes away walking towards the door, but they're all going all over the place, so you wouldn't let a person like that in. You wouldn't let a person who gets in your face in that thinks that they're going to get in by intimidating you. You wouldn't let people in that are like excessively drunk, but you'd let people in the club because the club wants to make money. So you've got to be, find a happy medium. So you're really listening to your gut instincts when you're working on the door to make sure that you don't make mistakes, so it doesn't let the team down, and obviously you don't get hurt. I can remember working at one club where there'd be 3,000 to 6,000 people in the club, and we was on the door, and some Chinese triads come down, and they wanted to get inside the club, and we had to close the doors, and they had a samurai sword, zoom, just missed me, you know what I mean? Fucking hell, that was a scary night. But when adrenaline's running, you don't think about the scariness of it. Another time I was walking a guy out, and as I walked him out, I said to him, do you want to walk lightly or do you want to go the rough way? He went, I want to go the light way, mate. So as I'm walking him out, he goes to punch me in the face, and I duck, but it gets me and it breaks my nose. But then we do what we have to do as doorman, and he's not let in ever again because he attacked me and I didn't attack him. So my rules are, when I was a doorman, I would always keep my back against the wall, because if people can get around you, they can bot you over the head and stuff like that. I'd always be looking out all the time. I took my job seriously, and if there was a big row at this massive club that I worked at, there would be me and 3 other doormen that would always be there at the situation. The other doormen were pretty boy doormen, and they don't want to get their face damaged, so they wouldn't turn up. And unfortunately, in any job, you get the people that really do it 100%, and you get the people that fucking piss around at it and don't do it properly. And in the door world, you get bodies, and you get people that guys like myself that, take the job seriously and is willing to jump in, get a black eye, get a punch in the head, or whatever happens. But you learn how to protect yourself, and you learn how to have a certain, how can I put it? You've got to carry yourself in a certain way for the person to know that you're going to ask to leave, that you're serious. So I can tell you a funny story. There was 2 guys, and they were behind a curtain. And I said to them, look, you're not allowed to be behind the curtain. You need to be on the dance floor if that's what you're going to do. And they said we wasn't behind the curtain. And I said, well, I've got to call the licensee, because you're going to be asked to leave, because you're not allowed to do that. That's one of our rules at this place. And both of them said they weren't behind the curtain. And I said, well, this guy's got a tattoo on his lower back that he was showing the other guy. So let's see that tattoo. So they said, all right, you're right, I've got a tattoo, and we are going to leave. And we had to call other security to get them to leave and walk them out. So in the security world, or in the door world, most doormen are sleeping in the day, working at night, training in the afternoon, keeping as strong and as fit as they can. Some firemen are doormen to make a bit of extra money and stuff like that. But the reason why I decided to leave it, because one day I got up and I woke up in the morning and I was like, I can't do this job anymore. This isn't me. So I went to see a friend of mine, a real close friend of mine, who's, tells me how it is, no bullshit. And he said to me, Scott, why didn't you become a personal trainer? And I said, well, I'm dyslexic. Can I learn the trapezius, the trap, the internal and external oblique, and the atlas, and T12 to T1, and all that type of stuff, And he went, Scott, you can do it. You worked at Argos, you was a stref. I know you can do it. You can do it. So then my wonderful father sent me some money and helped pay for the first bit of it, which was gym instructor. And then I realised that gym instructor wasn't enough. So then I did the personal trainer award with the YMCA, which was circuit training. Do circuit training, gym instructor, diet and nutrition. Then you had to do business skills. Then you had to do fitness assessments. Then you had to do some personal training. So you had to do many modules before you could become a trainer. So then I realised that, becoming a trainer was a great job. People love to be pushed hard. And many of the clients that were coming to me had lower back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain. They couldn't get rid of the body fat no matter how hard they trained. And that's when I started to study with the Institute in San Diego, and had my whole mind opened up so much compared to what I knew from coming out of being a doorman into becoming a trainer. But now I've got the job that I absolutely love. It's my number one passion, helping people lose weight, get in shape. So if you're a person that's listening to the video about me being a doorman thug and you'd like to get in shape, I don't over push my clients anymore. I do lots of assessments to make sure that your body is correcting, realigning, rebalancing, and losing weight without being overtrained. I used to overtrain myself because I needed lots of muscle mass, and I went up to 15 stone. I'm now down to just under 13, just over 13 and a half. And I'm just happy there now. So being a thug doorman, I remember somebody saying to me when I was out at a convention, and the person said to me, Scott, you used to be a doorman. I went, yeah. He said, how do you turn on the aggression when you're with somebody? And I go, well, you just go fucking like that. I'm going to fucking rip your fucking head off, you cunt. And then you just relax and just go back to normal. So that was a side of me that I had to tap into on a regular basis. But in my job now, I don't have to tap into that ever. Because if I don't like a client, I just say, look, let's call it a day. You go and train with somebody else, or, it's just not working out for me or you. So as you can see, I could still turn it on if I need to. And hopefully I'll never have to turn it on again, because it's just not me anymore. But obviously the stuff that I've learned through my martial arts, my training experience of 26, 27 years, there's some things you never forget. And another funny story, I was with a client, and he he was a notorious gangster. And I really, really liked him. We got on really, really well. And I seem to attract people like that into my life. And I've got no problem with that, because everybody's got a story or something that they've done or something that they're proud of or not proud of. So when I was working with this guy, I said to him, right, we're going to do boxer size. And if you hit the pads and you hit me, I'm going to hit you back, because I'm telling you not to hit me. I don't want to be hit. Bang, bang, bang. So he hit me in the face. And I said, right, let's take the pads off and let's do some wrestling. So we did some wrestling, and I judo throwed him onto a concrete floor, and he was quite winded for about 15 minutes. And then every time that we'd done some boxing, he never hit me in the face again. Unfortunately, I had to show him that, but it was fun, and I looked back at it as a funny story. And then another time, when I was a scary time when I was on the doors, I found this guy, and he'd been snorting coke and had a lot of cocaine on him, a big bag of cocaine like that, and he had a massive butterfly knife. And lucky enough, I got the knife off him, got the coke off of him, and said to him, it's time for you to leave. And he said, you're going to snort all my coke? And I said, no, of course I ain't. I ain't a druggie. I said, so we'll have to call the police and inform the police of that you've got this substance and that we're asking you to leave. And the reason why we have to do that is because if I took his drugs off of him and he was somebody that was notorious, I could end up getting shot the next day. And unfortunately, the doorman that that died, which I knew, 2 of them hung themselves, and another one was shot. And the one that got shot was James Ebola, and he was a boxer. And he was a man mountain. He was a black guy, and he was like, I think he was 6'4", 6'5". He was huge, but he was lovely to work with. He really looked after you, and he, if you was in his team, he just went out of his way to make sure that you was all right, and only wanted team members that can jump in if you needed to jump in. So God rest you, James Ebola. God rest Dan and the other guy, Bryant. So really sad that them guys are no longer here with us, because they were just doing a job. That's it, And anyone that's out there that think that doormen are thugs, doormen have to turn it on and turn it off when they need to. The old days of doormen just running in and starting a fight have gone, because the doormen that I work with just wanted to earn their money and not have any grief. They wanted to have a grief stress-free night, so they get their 50 quid for the night and not have any grief, not have to go to hospital, not have to call an ambulance, not have to have a hard time. We don't want to earn our money. We want to just stand there, look the part, and not have any grief. Oh, and one other funny story, you'll like this. England and Scotland were playing, I think it was in rugby, and I was working in a pub in Leicester Square, and this pub is a big, huge fucking pub. And I got a call and they said that they wanted me in really early because they're going to have the big football teams come down. So I'm on the front door. It's about 12 o'clock, and we wouldn't normally start work till about 6 or 7. So I'm there at 12, and I'm thinking, fucking hell, where are the other guys? Why is it only just me? And then there was another guy, I'm not going to mention his name, but he's a legend in the West End as well, a big, big legend. And he said, well, get on the front door, Scott, call me if there's any problems. I'll be upstairs. All right. I'm not going to mention his name. And so I'm there, and all of a sudden I hear all this singing coming down the road, and I look, and it's all a load of jocks, and they've all got these fucking kilts on, and there's about 30 of them. So I go, come to the front door now, come to the front door. He comes steaming through, and he's standing there with me, and this guy is twice my size. He's fucking huge, and he can have a tear up as well, and I know personal experience. And he went, it's all right, we just won't let him in. I went, but there's 30 of them, there's only 2 of us. He went, we're not going to let them in. And he gave me that stern look, we're not going to let them in. And I went, but they might be all right. He went, no, they're not coming in, Scott. I went, all right. Are you going to tell them? He went, yeah, I'll tell them. So as they come down, me and him had puffed up their chests a little bit, and we're standing on this place's door, and he says, sorry lads, not today. And they used their accent, and what they all did, they all lifted up their kilts to show us their bollocks and their arses. It was really, really funny. I'll never forget that day for as long as I live, sorry. And they had a real good sense of humour. They went fine, they understood, and they went and found another pub to go into that didn't have a doorman on the front door and the back door. So that was a funny night. I'm just trying to think of another funny night. Told you about the samurai incident. Told you about the jock incident. Oh, there was another incident that I didn't really like, and it was an incident where this woman had passed out in the pub, and I had to carry her out. And this is one of the reasons why I left as well. Said that I should leave her on the street, and I didn't really like that. That was not right at all. But I did my job. I did what I was asked to do. Oh, there was another funny incident, another funny time. We had to throw out 5 guys, and we threw them out, and there was 3 doormen. And there was me, this big guy, this other gigantic guy. And the gigantic guy stood and watched while me and the other guy had a fight in the street in Leicester Square. A fight in the street with the tourists filming us while we were fighting. So if anyone's got that footage, please don't put it online. It was really, really funny that we was in the street having a fight and this other guy just stood there, watched and didn't do anything. And so I went back the next day and phoned up the head of security and just said, look, this guy's got to go. He just fucking stood there. Didn't even jump in, didn't even do anything. And he was watching that door. And this guy was twice my size, twice the size of the other guy, and didn't even jump in. So that's when you get guys when they don't have any bollocks and they give it all that but ain't got any of that. So that was a funny time. I was trying to think, is there any other funny stories? Oh, there was another time when I was working in another part of the West End, and this other doorman that I worked with, I won't mention his name, but he knows who he is, and he's really notorious, you know, and he can really, really have it, ex-army and stuff like that. And these group of lads come down, and we refused them coming in, and we're all standing there because they were really rolled up. And so as the guys went away, I don't know where they got a tin of beans, and they threw it at my mate, and my mate went down there, and all you could hear was screaming. And he come back, he went, "There won't be a problem ever again." And there wasn't. We never saw him again. But this doorman had a mark on his head from where the tin of beans hit him. But I reckon them guys definitely regret that. And then there was one other time I'll tell you about, and this is somewhere else in the West End, and they was getting ready to close, and this doorman went to these guys, look, it's time for you to leave, and they went, we ain't going anywhere. And he went, well, I'm asking you to leave, the bar is now closed. And they went, we're not going anywhere. He went, oh, what, so you want to stay in and fight? And they went, no, we don't want to stay in and fight, we're going to stay in and drink. He went, well, the bar is closed, if you want to stay in and fight and not leave, then I'm happy to do that. So they didn't think he was serious, and this guy is deadly serious. I'd love to know where this guy is because he's brilliant, and I've not seen him for many, many years. It would be fantastic to bump into him again. And he pulled down the shutters and went in there, boom, 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 and then opened up the shutters and threw these three guys out. It was just absolutely classic. And so don't fuck with a doorman, even if there's just one. Remember, if the doorman's working on his own and there's only one of them, there's only one of them for a good reason. And it isn't because he's an idiot, and it isn't because he can't fight. So remember that. And remember, some doormen are doormen because they absolutely love being a doorman. And when the shit hits the fan, they're there straight away. And that's how I used to be at one time. I don't even know if I could do the job again, to be honest with you, being away from it for so long. I don't know if I could go back to it. There's been many times when I thought, you know, go back to it, you know, and get the SIA badge. But then many people, the old school guys that I know, there's not many of them still doing it, but there is some still doing it. As said, it's all changed. It's not like it used to be. And I know many people, it's easy to carry a knife now, and then it's all over, you know, get stabbed once and you're dead. So I don't think it's worth doing that job anymore. So I hope you've liked this video on me talking about my past and how I become a trainer and how I love my job now every day. It's the best job in the world. I wouldn't want to do anything else. And that me and my thug life and how I've left it behind. So hope you've enjoyed this video. If you'd like to have a free Skype session with me, if you're a doorman out there and you know me, you'd like to do a session where we can have a chat, or you'd like to give us a ring, or if you're somebody that just like to get in shape, get out of pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, or you just want to get in shape because you're out of shape, then let me know. Thanks very much. I'm Scott Bryant of Active Bryant Systems. Please go there to comment and please subscribe there. And if you've subscribed and you'd like to do a session with me, then let me know. Thanks very much. Bye-bye. Thank you.